Hello, I'm Andy, and welcome to the Pokemon Type Mashup Challenge. I went out and bought a Pokemon booster pack in order to ensure randomness to the challenge, and I wound up with 9 Pokemon. After removing 1, I had 8 Pokemon. Starly, Crawdont, Grottle, Lemueon, Riolu, Spirit Bomb, nope, that's a different thing, Spirit Tomb, Printflop, and Cherubi. All that was left to do was pair them up and decide what Pokemon's types I wanted to switch. My first pair was Starly and Crawdont. I felt this one was a no-brainer in who to choose because a normal type Crawdont is really just a big crab, so I chose Starly as a water type. I had a few ideas for how to draw Starly as a grass type. Yeah, that's not that helpful in this instance. So I googled water birds and went straight to images. My first thought was Starly with longer legs and a beak, but that didn't quite feel right, so I added more influence from birds like flamingos or cranes. Basically, I gave it a longer neck and made it catch a fish. After that, it was time to work on the final version. I drew it in a 3/4 view and made a long neck look more bendy, and I added fish in its beak and added in a tear because I thought it was funny. In hindsight, I should have drawn the fish as like a Magikarp or something like that, and, I just drew a normal fish. Oh well, first one done with ease, now we're moving on to the next pair. The choice was between Grottle and Lumion. Like me, you may have found the idea of a grass fish entertaining. Instead, I decided to draw Grottle as a water type. You may think that's just a turtle, but I have some thoughts about that, and I wanted to base it off Dunkleotis, I think that's how that's pronounced, which was a giant fish in the Devonian period, also referred to as the Age of Fish. I'm not here to give you a prehistoric history lesson, so if you want to learn more, I would recommend looking it up. Dinosaurs and that sort of stuff, pretty interesting. At the time, I couldn't remember the name that I googled, so, I wound up googling armored fish. Thankfully, I found pictures of the fossils I needed. The first version of the drawing was just me trying to figure out how to mesh the two together without over-designing it like a Digimon. I got rid of the bushes with those aren't really around underwater, and in version 2 I added some seaweed where the bushes would have been. I was thinking about replacing it with coral instead, and probably should have done like a quick third sketch just to see how it would look at least, but I was feeling kind of lazy, so I didn't. When I was thinking of the pose, I thought maybe it would get kind of close to the ocean floor and hide in seaweed and ambush its prey that way, and it turned out to look kind of derpy and cute. Satisfied I had the reference I wanted, I moved on to the final drawing, and I think it turned out pretty cool if I do say so myself. We're halfway there. The next combo I pulled was Riolu and Spirit Tomb. It took quite a bit of consideration before I decided to draw Riolu as a ghost type. I suppose that does mean I chose to yeet the child. Let's talk about the results of said yeeting. The first thing I did was Google ghost type Pokemon to see what they looked like, and found that most of them seemed to be floating. So I removed the legs and added in a ghost tail, and still kept the actual tail. And then I made the ears kind of floating off from the body because I thought that might look kind of cool. After I removed some skin, I guess fur, to make it look more like a zombie, I felt this design didn't really fit Pokemon, so I did a second draft. I wanted to keep the undead vibe but make it look less zombie-like, so I used the ghosts in Hilda for some inspiration and made bones floating inside of a spectral body of Riolu. Since I was keeping the legs removed, I wanted to make sure the pelvis bone was there to indicate that it once had legs, so I googled pelvis. Not pelvis bone, just pelvis. Thankfully, there were only a few diagrams of the organs around that area, and mostly pelvis bone pictures. I made the tail vertebrae and the fur of the coat transparent so that you could actually see the bones. Boom, ghost type Riolu is done, and I didn't have too much trouble. To my surprise, to be honest with you. Lastly, but not leastly, our pair was Printflop and Cherubi. I don't want 3/4 of my drawings to be water type, so I chose to draw Printflop as a grass type. Didn't expect to be drawing starters swapping types, but I guess that's the life that we live with. At first I made the arms out of some kind of flowers that I found after googling blue plants. Not sure what they were called. Maybe someone who sees this does. And made the dark blue top half into a green with some leaves kind of midway down. I also gave its left shoulder, its left shoulder. I gave both of its shoulders. I gave it leaf shoulder pads because that seemed kind of cool. I wasn't happy with it and was struggling to think of something else to do with it. Thankfully, I had my roommate and his girlfriend behind me and asked them for some thoughts. They suggested that adding flowers at Printflop's head might be a good idea, and then my single brain cell clicked it into place and made it more of a tree. Fucking genius. I made the lower half into a tree stump and gave it some twisty roots that I imagined it would use to walk around on the ground. Then I added the head flowers. Everything else I kept the same as in the first drawing, and all that was left to do was draw the final pose and its background. And with that, we have the challenge complete. Thanks for coming along this journey with me to draw some new Pokemon. For the first 3 drawings, I was using a new brush for inking, just to try out how it feels. Unfortunately for the last drawing, I didn't switch back to because I am a dumbass and forgot to. But I can say with confidence, I like the brush I use normally better than this new one. Perhaps a combo of the two would be fun, as in like a mixture of the way the brushes behave. But, you know, I don't know how to accomplish that. Anyway, I'm not going to change any of them so that they're the same inks. If you like this video and want to see more, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other drawings, challenges for me to do, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye!